To spawn multiple lightnings at once, we're going to need to change our coroutine setup a little bit. In fact, what I recommend and what we're going to do is start up multiple coroutines and then wait for them all to finish. That way we can give ourselves a little bit of a delay without having to write very complicated code. To start, let's grab our lightning and start extracting and refactoring some of this code. Our start and counter method is already, what is this, almost 20 lines long? I think it's about time to start shrinking it down and turning it into some things that are easier to digest. The first thing I want to do is grab our lightning object after line 39. So on line 40, say var lightning equals, and here we're just going to get that lightnings at index. Then we're going to replace the lightnings at index down below with the word lightning, just so that we can get rid of and stop accessing it from the array. We'll just kind of pull that reference to the object off, add in a space, and then do this awesome trick of selecting the entire thing, hitting Alt-Enter, or let's see, Control-Shift-R. Let's see if it's going to let me do it. Right click and find the extract methods, quick actions and refactorings. It's not going to let me refactor and extract. That's fine. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. Depends on the code editor. So instead, what I'll do is select all that code, hit Control X, and then I'm going to write the code or the line start, coroutine. And here I'm going to call show lightning, lightning, and I'll pass in the word lightning or our lightning object and add a semicolon. We'll generate this method and get ready. I've got my stuff on the clipboard. I'm just gonna paste it right in. I do need to replace this string with IE numerator, but now I've got code that's going to kick off a coroutine to show a lightning object and then wait for it. So what if I wanted to show two lightning objects? Well, I could just duplicate this. Well, actually, if I did that, it's going to just show that same lightning object. But I could duplicate the part that picks a lightning and then shows it, and then show it right afterwards. So I could take this bit of code right here. Let's just copy it all and paste it. Just got to get rid of the declarations here because they're already declared. And then this would show another lightning, although theoretically it could pick the same random index and show that same lightning object. Let's just do this for a moment. Let's add a yield return new, wait 4 seconds, and we'll wait for a delay between strikes. And then we'll add an Alt-Enter, generate a field for it, hit F12. We'll cut that. I'm going to move it up here. We have delay between lightning and delay between strikes. I kind of feel like these are somewhat redundant, but they're not actually. So this is the lightning. This is between each individual attack, and then this is between each individual strike. I'm going to put this delay at maybe like a 0.25, and we'll do a build. Control-Shift-B, jump into Unity, and let's just see that in action, make sure that we're getting two lightning strikes, that our two coroutines are working, and that everything is somewhat okay, or see if everything just goes completely wild and haywire, which is kind of what I expect. Let's watch it. So here we go. We're in the scene view, and, well, let's see if I go to the console tab. You see that stuff isn't really showing up, but I can see some lightnings kind of appearing and then disappearing instantly. And what's happening here, let's take a look here, if we go back to our code, is that we're in this while loop. And in this while loop, we're doing a little bit of a wait. We wait between strikes and we, is that it? Yeah, and we do one yield for a frame. But right after we kick off these two coroutines, we go right back to the loop and we turn these objects back to false or not active. So we're just disabling all of the objects again right at the end of it. Now, if we moved this outside of the while loop, it would get a little bit better. Our first lightning might actually show partially, and then our second one would still end up getting overwritten or disappearing or doing something weird. Let's actually see that. Let's cut this. We'll move it up here to the beginning, and we can actually delete out the while yield or the yield return null statement that was there. And let's change it to be just like this and go take one more peek at Unity and see what that looks like. See the behavior, and then we'll talk about how we can wait for these coroutines to finish instead of having it kind of run them and keep kicking them off in a loop. So let's see what happens if it's insta kicking them off in a loop without turning them off. We're going to see lots and lots of lightning. Get ready. I'm going to go, let's just run over here. There we go. Tons of lightning appearing constantly. Some of them are getting interrupted halfway through because a new one starts it up. And then eventually, or really quickly, my player dies. So what we need to do is wait for these two coroutines to finish. And we can do that with a simple statement, which is a yield return wait until. So the yield return wait until, which waits until the condition inside of the lambda statement afterwards, or the condition that's passed in, is true or met. So we're going to create a lambda statement, and the lambda statement is going to be that our active lightning objects are all not active. Now, to get access to know what our active lightning objects are, we're probably going to need to store them off somewhere. So let's create a list of active lightnings. Let's create a list right up here. List active lightnings, or no, list of transforms, sorry, named active lightnings. And we'll just assign that to a new list. And then we'll add in our new lightning objects to it. So when we kick off a coroutine, we'll say active lightnings.add. And we'll add our lightning. I'll do that down here for the second one as well. And then we're just going to wait until all of the active lightnings game objects, so we'll do all of its game objects. And here I'm just going to do another lambda inside of this. And we'll say not t dot active self, or game object dot active self. There we go. And close that off. So we're going to wait until all of our active lightnings have their game object inactive. So that means that they are no longer active. And then we'll clear out our active lightnings. So say active lightnings.clear. And I've got a typo right here where I missed my new keyword. It's a new wait until. Whenever we do the yield return, it's always yield return new wait until, or it could be anything that we've cached off so that we're not creating a new one every frame or every time, which is even better, but beyond the scope of this for now. So I've got my build, I think, working. I should be able to jump back into Unity now and then control the number of active lightnings and the delay between them and the pause between them. Let's go see if that's the case. See if it's all up and working as we expect. So you can see lightning, got 2 shots firing off, 2 more shots firing off. Now I've only got 1 shot firing, 2 shots firing, 2 shots firing. Let's turn up the number of shots. Oh, I didn't make it variable yet, so we won't turn up the number of shots. But we turn down that delay, and they should fire at the exact same time. We turn it up to like a 1 second, and I can see that they fire about a second behind. But let's watch one more time and see if we get the case where it doesn't fire off too. If I change the delay between strikes to 0, eventually we should see a scenario where only 1 fires off. And the reason that that's going to happen, as soon as it does happen, is that it's picking the same lightning object twice. So let's see if it happens. Come on. Now it's never going to happen. There we go. It happened. So that happened again because we picked the lightning object, and then we don't check to make sure that it wasn't the same lightning object that was picked before. So instead of adding our lightning and then just picking it again, let's make sure that when we pick a lightning object, it's not already in our list. So to do that, we could just do a check right here and say, well, let's see, how do we want to do this? First, let's take this bit of code here, line 49 through 53, and just delete it. I'm going to get rid of that for a moment, and I want to take the code here from lines 41 through 47, and we're going to turn this into a method called spawn new lightning. Let's do that. Can we hit Alt-Enter and extract a method? Maybe Visual Studio will let us. If not, we'll just cut, Control-X, and say, spawn yield return spawn new lightning. Now we'll generate a method for that spawn new lightning with Alt-Enter. Make sure that it returns an IE numerator, and then paste in our code here. So this will spawn a new lightning object. Oh, but we do need a reference to our active lightnings. So we've got to now decide, do we want active lightnings to be a field variable or a member that's just passed in? And this is a good time to promote this up to be a field. To do that, we'll just change the name here, Control R, add an underscore to it, go home, Control delete 3 more times, hit Alt-Enter, and generate a field. Then I can just add that underscore right here, and my code is fixed. If I hit Control, click on this, you can see that it just added that public list, or private list, sorry, up at the top. Let's delete out that private keyword. So now we've got a spawn new lightning method that will spawn a new lightning. And that's essentially all it's going to do. We can duplicate that method, or we can make it spawn any number of times. But before we spawn a lightning, let's make sure that the one that we've picked isn't in our active lightnings list. So in our spawn new lightning method, we'll say while active lightnings dot contains lightning. Then we're just going to pick a new index and create or select a new lightning. So I'll copy lines 50 through 51 all the way up to the index part, because I'm going to have to delete that int. We'll add a brace here, paste it in, and delete out the var keyword. And now we've got a loop here that's going to keep picking a random one until we pick one that's not in our list. There is a theoretical and a very easy to cause giant crash bug here. So before you start running this code, make sure you save your scene, save everything, and make sure that I would even say that you commit, because you will crash the editor if you start playing with these values and start moving things around, because you can get this while loop stuck and break the whole thing. We'll talk about that in the next section though. For now, I want to make sure that we can spawn any number of lightnings. So we'll add a loop here and we'll say for tab, and we'll change length to number of lightnings. And then we'll move line 45 inside of that loop. We'll generate a field for number of lightnings, hit F12, change that to be a serialized field, and I'm going to default it to 1. We'll cut it and move it right up here. Oh, I did not cut that correctly. So I'll cut it with Control X and paste it up here. So now we've got a number of lightnings to show. We've got the delay, and we've got all of our other settings. I think that we are ready to now go play with it, cause everything to blow up, and have some fun adjusting some settings. So let's save, make sure that the whole scene is saved. We'll go into plastic. So we've added a variable lightning count and check it in, because again, we're going to be able to crash things. May as well get our stuff in a perfect safe state before that happens. We'll press play. And let's just watch everything in action. I'm just going to go to the scene view, see the 1 lightning appear. If I turn this up to 2 lightnings, the next time we should get 2 appearing. And there's a little bit of a delay between. If I turn it up to 3, we should get 3 appearing. And notice that we're going to get 3 every time. We're not going to get situations where we get 1 or 2. If I turn it up to 4, we're going to get 4 appearing. I can turn the delay down to 0, and I'll get 4 appearing all at once. I can turn it up to 5, and I'll get 5 appearing. Turn it up to 6. I'm guessing you know where this is going. So turn it up to 6. I get 6 appearing. I turn it up to 7. And my editor has completely crashed. The game has blown up and I can't work anymore. So hopefully I committed. Hopefully you've committed too. In the next section, we're going to talk about what's going on and how to fix that.